This episode of the Dicebreaker podcast is sponsored by Wild Bills. Ditch the manufactured flavors. Your taste buds deserve better. Treat yourself to Wild Bill's premium handcrafted soda pop. Mouth-watering beverages that allow you to escape to the most interesting places imaginable. Cheers to refusing the drink from the mainstream. Cheers to kick-ass canned. Cheers to being veteran-owned and operated. At Wild Bills, flavor isn't everything. It's the only thing. Use discount code CHEERS15 for 15% off your first order.
Filmed live in front of a live studio audience, it's the Dicebreaker podcast with your host, Matt Jarvis.
I feel like I should be Kermit the Frog and there's a better guest who I'm going to introduce in a second.
Either I
Does this
can't
make you
hear
Gonzo, Will?
Who's
Yes.
better than Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, no, that's a fair comment.
I mean, yeah, but Kermit the Frog isn't the guest of,
Filmed live
just the
in
Muppet.
front of a live studio audience.
It's a very special guest star.
I've
Hello,
always
everyone.
thought
Welcome
of
back
you
to the
as
Dicebreaker podcast.
Yes, hello. Welcome back. We almost nailed the intro this time. I nailed the intro this time. Look,
Matt. I've always thought of you as
Professionalism.
Fozzie Bear.
yeah, I get that a lot.
I would like to apologise to our sponsors, Wild Bills, for putting their video in 4K instead of 1080 and having to resize it on the fly if you're watching on YouTube.
Well, Wills, we wanted to reflect the big flavors
Exactly.
of Wild Bill's
and then
delicious
we wanted to show them
soda
being-
pop.
Those big flavors being smalled down into a tiny can for on-the-go drinking. Available now, Wild Bills.
Wild Bills. I actually do really like Wild Bills.
Yeehaw.
Given the sponsor enough airtime already. Let's get into our stuff. We're of course back with the Dicebreaker podcast. If you're watching live, thank you for joining us. If you're listening on audio podcast or catching up, welcome as well.
Sorry.
I'm so glad to be in your ear holes right now. Thank you for having me.
I'm Matt Jarvis. I'm joined by three of the team. Wills, how you doing?
I am doing great, apart from the fact that I got the wrong train on the way back from Zoe's and ended up in Brighton and had to bike here, which means that I've just gotten out of the shower because it's very hot, and that's why everything might look a little bit jank. We're also we've swapped over to Discord for our video calls rather than Google Meet because Google have decided you have to pay for that now. So if you notice any tech stuff, let us know. But it seems like it's going pretty well.
Thanks, Google.
Yeah, thanks Google.
Yeah. Google.
God damn. But yeah, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking, Matt Jarvis.
It's good to have you back. I don't think you were on last week, were you? So
No,
it's
I
nice
think
to-
I
nice
was
to be
on the
back
last 2 weeks. I think it's been a little bit. I think I was off sick last week when we were doing the podcast because I was supposed to be on it. But more importantly, we've got loads to talk about on this podcast. So
Yeah.
it's a good one.
So
to be
let's get
I mean,
on through.
we don't need
to-
an introduction. Lolies
on.
and
I'm desperately
So-
trying to throw back to Matt.
I was about to throw to Alex Meehan. Hello, thank you for being here.
Fine. I guess I'm here. Like no one else knows.
Oh, golf
Well, they
bit.
know.
Alex Meehan isn't in the spotlight.
You are one.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that's bad, I'm last and also least apparently. So
You're not. Look, nobody said that. Look, in the Muppet Show, Stanler and Waldorf come last, and they are the most of the. They are the best of the Muppets. So
we're like the main act, and they are keeping the best for last,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And
You're like-
speaking of the best
There we
for
go.
last, Alex Lolies,
Hey!
welcome back.
Hey, it's me. I'm glad to be here. I also haven't been here for a couple of weeks, and it's good to be back and discussing fun things with my friends on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounded
Speaking
so
of-
sincere.
Speaking of fun
That's
things,
me.
let's put the exciting news at the top for those of you joining us. Next week, we will be launching premium memberships
Oh my god.
on the Dicebreaker YouTube channel, Dicebreaker Plus.
Ooh, everybody
Yes,
else had a
we're
plus, so we wanted one
DB
too.
Plus.
Ooh, yeah.
We will.
Lolies, it's like a 3D effect.
Whoa.
That's what we do to exercise the bad content out of our lives. And only good content here, thanks.
Not by that we don't mean exercise it into the members' videos. we have
No.
also made very good videos for you to watch. Dicebreaker memberships, which if you want to support the channel,
No, what
even
we're
further-
saying is we're only making good videos for the membership.
Oh no,
videos.
yeah.
The rest
of
is
them are gonna suck. No, that's not true. We've got loads more content coming to the channel if you want more Dicebreaker than ever before. And if you want to support the channel, get exclusive access to new videos, a community Discord channel, which is launching soon, as well as emotes.
You've only been
TBA
for 2 years.
Yeah. It's loads of cool stuff, which will be available to members. So if you want to support the channel even further, it really, really helps us, of course. After a pretty horrible pandemic where we're getting back on our feet and running back up to full speed. So look out for that. It's going to be very, very exciting. We'll have more news on that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So look out for that next week. We also have a super chat, by the way, just before we move on. Jay Salamander says, I have a very important question, which I'm guessing we'll answer in our question section, but I haven't read the question yet. Has Mian sorted out her technical gremlins yet, or is it time to deploy Sir Didymus as the nuclear option? I don't know what any of that means.
No.
Wait,
the labyrinth thing.
So the Sir Didymus thing I'm confused by. But the Gremlins reference presumably is to do with the fact that my desktop is currently crawling into its grave.
Oh yeah, of course your PC's been shutting down, hasn't it?
It's been doing more than that, baby. It's been finding. It's finding various ways to just really grind my gears. Just little tricks. It's been doing little tricks now to remind me.
Fingers crossed. But if Mian just disappears at some point, you'll know why. But thank you very much for the super chat, Jay Salamander. Right, that's enough. That's enough burying the lead. Should we talk about some of the fantastic stuff we've been doing this week, all?
Yeah, my God, I'm being usurped from the host seat in real time.
Yeah, what's happening?
It's all about keeping it fluid and agile.
Excuse me, you've also I need to just need to like bring Wheels down a peg here, because Wheels, you're demoted from host. It's Matt who's the host, and Matt knows what's actually next. The most important bit of the whole podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh well, we almost got away with it, but go on then, Lolies.
Oh, Matt.
Lolies. It's episode 66. What's our
Lickety
bingo
click.
call of the week?
Lickety click.
Yeah.
Well, not even lickety split.
No.
Which is
Clickety
an actual
click.
thing that people... Oh, clickety
Has alliteration, even though it doesn't rhyme. Yeah.
Clickety click is just meant to rhyme, which doesn't even rhyme.
66 clickety click.
Sickety six, sickety
Yeah.
six, clickety click. 3, 4. What? Oh, look, you're all too young to remember Blanky
I
Blank.
know
No,
what
I know
that
what
is.
blanky
Don't you
blank is,
patronise
Matt.
me.
Just
I was
wasn't that good a joke. I was just...
Oh Lord.
I think we can all agree that that's not a very good bingo call. So
Yeah, not great. Not great, bingo.
It's not-
The next few are very poor, and the last few have been
Yeah.
quite poor. It's honestly the main reason I haven't been on the podcast, because they just haven't been like that
You
good.
just
I
So
don't
that's
know.
fine.
I'll
You-
miss that one
I don't know.
out, yeah.
Ever since we did Grandma's Getting Frisky, I don't know if we'll ever top that. That really was
No.
just the ultimate bingo call. Right,
Well,
Matthew.
Now we can move
I'm
on.
handing
let's
over
move on
to the
to what we've
host.
been doing this week. Let's go this week in reverse order. Alex Lolies, how's your week been looking? What have you been up to?
I have been having a card game heavy week.
Ooh.
I've played Magic the Gathering.
Yes.
Whoa.
For I think the third time in my whole entire life. And I played 2 games. It went up on the channel yesterday. If you didn't catch it, you should go check it out, because Wheels, Liv, and myself played games against each other. So it was Wheels and Liv first, then it was myself and Liv, and then it was myself and Wheels. And we had a little tournament between the 3 of us to
Yeah.
see who could win the most games. And it was my third time ever playing. I think I've played like once a year for the last 4 years or 3 years, I guess. So
And
yeah, it was
Lolies,
good.
Who was sent to the Shadow Realm in the end?
Oh, that's a
I
spoiler.
won't say. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's
no, you
something
need to watch it.
Yeah,
You need to
gotta
watch the video. But what I will say is I was planning to play the black deck, and in the end I went for the red deck just because the black deck was already played, and I was like, well, I'll just do something else. And I actually quite liked it, and I have to say, like, as a game, I quite enjoyed it. And now I'm like really, because I got sent some like Magic the Gathering stuff a few months ago when they were releasing.
Strixhaven?
I think it might have been Strixhaven,
Yeah.
actually, yeah. And I've got like a bunch of unopened Magic the Gathering cards and booster packs and everything. So I think I'm gonna try, and I think I've been saying this before, but I really want to get them on the table, especially now that I've played and like the rules are fresh in my head and everything.
Yeah.
I wanna get in on that because I wanna kick Wheels' bum, and I decided in that video that I'm gonna become a professional Magic the Gathering player.
And genuinely,
yeah, just in time for them to not give any more money out of those tournaments. They're just emptying those prize pools lately. But
genuinely, though, I thought Lolies did really, really well. Like, we all know that Lolies is very good at board games, but like, I thought Lolies was great considering how few games she played. And also, I think Red is a really good fit because Red are like really aggro, like high damage, fast. Like, I think that really suits your playstyle. So I think it's probably a good fit for you.
And pray tell, was this for the upcoming or just announced Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah. It was
really got to strain that one out, haven't you?
We got the we got some codes or like kind of special accounts where we got to play with the newest cards from Adventures
in the Forgotten Realms.
Forgotten Realms, thank you.
Really rolls off the tongue, that one.
Especially when you have to say Dungeons and Dragons at the start.
Yeah, and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering - Dungeons and Dragons : Adventures in the Forgotten Realms.
2 Return of the Planeswalkers.
For me, that's like a top tier. As a news writer, I've seen some real doozies out there. But
Fiona Apple album.
Go on, they've got some key terms in that one though, haven't they?
SEO is off the
charts.
Baby. Ooh, yum yum. Yeah, I mean, I quite like the red deck, but I have not really I think I played the black maybe when Johnny Wheels and I played
we did game night, didn't we?
Night one, like 2 years ago almost. I don't really remember how I found it back then, but yes, I liked red. I'd like to play some more and get to know the other decks and then get to know the cards and just get good, you know.
Good.
So that was good. I've played Dinn, which is a game that we've covered twice on the channel. Now you say that, Wheels, but I played 4 games of it in the last like 2 weeks, and I have to say I don't like it.
Oh, fair enough. No, that's fine.
We played it once on I played it once on the channel with you, and that was my first time playing it, and I quite liked it, but it was my first time playing, so you know I don't know, I find it quite unbalanced. I've got 3 decks: the horror deck, the sentient, and the beast.
I found the horror deck a bit crap. But I really like the other deck, 2.
That's my main thing. I think the horror deck is like way weaker than the other 2. Like, it doesn't seem to like come up to par at all. I think the sentient deck is by far the strongest deck. I think the beast deck can kind of hold its own, but it kind of depends. Yeah, it's all right, but I don't love it. I don't know, something about it just doesn't.
That's fair. I don't think it's everyone. It's a good like beginner one though, because it's super easy to learn. Like, it takes like seconds to pick it up, I think.
Yeah. It's just like it's quite slow, I find. It's one of those games, like I know like a lot of card games like that, when they've got text on them, it obviously takes, especially when you learn them, it takes quite a long time because you're getting to know the cards. But I obviously played like quite a few games, and I was a bit like, I don't really want to get to know these cards. Like, I just don't really have the interest. So yeah,
sorry,
it's
I don't
right.
want to get to know you.
Yeah, that's like you've been on a date with this game, and you're just like, I'm sorry, you're not for me.
I think, sometimes you get an early feeling, and you're like, I don't think we're made to be together, you and me. So
I'm sorry, Dinn.
I'm sorry.
It's not you, it's me. Actually, it is you. You suck.
I'll probably still end up playing it because my housemate really likes it. So I'll play it.
Is your housemate quite new to games?
Ish. Well, like board games, yeah.
So I can see you really liking MTG because it's super crunchy, and it's like, I don't know about folks at home, but I think the 4 of us are pretty advanced gamers. So, MTG's got like a lot to it. So I think there's way more to like mess around with, which is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like MTG. But I also played Summoner Wars, so another card game that's kind of got a similar vibes to a lot of the games I've been playing. And I really, really like Summoner Wars. We played it again on the channel. We played like a demo version online, which I think I played the Breakers and you played the Goblins.
Yes.
And then I played it since after that, like where I played the Goblins and somebody else played the Breakers. I really like the Breakers. They're one of my favorite, like, really I don't know what you call them. Yeah, I really like the Breakers a lot. Factions, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my physical copy arrived like I don't know, last week or early this week. I can't remember. And I've played 2 more games since, and I played I can't remember what they're called, but they're like kind of like very cleric-y, all about healing.
Oh, the Guardians or the Vanguards?
Vanguards, that's what they are, Vanguards. I did not like them. That's not
really?
my play style.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, early on, I was like, you know, when it was one of those things where, like, you know, I say with Dinn, it's like you kind of get a feeling early on. Vanguards, like almost from the off, I was like, I'm not gonna like these guys because I don't ever play healing characters. It's not my style. I don't like it. It's not what I like to do. But I played it through, and like I think I ended up losing anyway. Yeah, I just didn't like them. But then today at lunch, I played there were elves.
The Phoenix elves.
No.
The jungle elves, the Savannah elves. They used to be the jungle elves, but now they're Savannah elves.
Savannah elves, which I was like, I really like the look of these, and I love them. And from these ones, like early on, I was like, I'm gonna like these a lot because they're all about like being quite aggressive.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, they're very aggressive. They like use boosting a lot, which lets them like do more than one attack per turn and stuff like that. They're just really, really, really good, and I really like them. But I have a question for you because Wheels, I know you know the game pretty well.
Before you answer that question, I just want to say, Lolies, it makes me so happy that you're getting into Summoner Wars because I think Summoner Wars is fantastic. I don't think it gets enough love.
It's good.
Yeah.
And this is second edition.
It's a brand new one.
Yeah,
it's a new one.
So the question for you, Wheels, is because I know you did a review previously, and I probably should have watched that before I asked you this question. But do you find that the game is in any way unbalanced, or like, for example, that the Savannah elves in themselves are in any way unbalanced?
I haven't played much with the Savannah elves, but most of the factions, like, I've played with pretty much all the factions at least once, and like most of them seem pretty well balanced to each other. Like I've played a few games online with like randoms, and I've played the AI and stuff, and like I was like winning and losing about the same amount with like every faction that I was playing with. So I haven't seen too much unbalancedness, but I think when you play with one faction a lot, sometimes you can get really good at them as well. So that can also have an effect.
Well, I've been playing with a real person, and we just played like I played Savannah elves, and they played. What did they play again? Something else. They're like undead or something.
I love this. Those guys are really tricksy.
Fallen Kingdom,
yeah. Because they're all about like resurrecting and like spreading plague and all that kind of stuff, which means that you can actually screw yourself when you play them. But if you gamble correctly and get what you need, like they can be really, really cool to play as. I think they're one of my favorite factions, actually, the Fallen Kingdom.
Because I think like it was an interest. I think maybe like they weren't ideal to play against each other because like I was gaining loads of magic because it was really easy for me to take them down because I could do double attacks. And because like the Fallen Kingdom ones are pretty low health, but there's a lot of them, it was like quite easy for me to take out a lot of them, gain more magic, and then bring out like quite expensive like magic wise cards. So like like the two of them didn't maybe seem like the ideal opponents because it just seemed like I was way stronger than them. But yeah, I just was wondering if you had any thoughts on that because
I think because they're all so like asymmetric, I think sometimes one team might be balanced against everyone in the box, but you go up against someone and they're just kind of designed to work against them almost a bit. So that might be what you were coming into. But yeah, I think it's a great game. I love it. And like there's going to be new expansions coming out and all that kind of stuff. Because we did a Let's Play of the original edition for like a You've Never Played on the channel. It was me and Johnny. And I was showing them like the factions that were available because it was like a tabletop mod. So it had all of the factions and there were like 60. It was so they've got a lot up their sleeves. So like there'll be plenty to play from. And like because of the online subscription, you can pay like £3 a month and just play all of them, you know, like whenever you want and then try out your favorites and all that kind of stuff. So it's really, really cool. Love it.
I gotta say,
I really, really like it. And it's I much prefer it to Dinn, and I haven't played enough Magic to compare it to that. But I think Summoner Wars might be like up there. I think I might get into like getting the expansions and everything, like kind of like I am with Star Realms. I think Summoner Wars could maybe be my like second favorite kind of card game.
They put out like I think they've already got one either in the works for it to come out, but they put little versus boxes out where it's like two factions. So if a new one of those comes out, we could probably play a game in the studio, which would be very fun. Yeah.
Whoa! Teasing content.
Oh yeah.
So I've had a very card game heavy week. That's what I've been playing. I've also just to go away from games for a moment. I watched Black Widow, the new Marvel film.
Nice.
I went to see that last night, and it was really good. It was really. I didn't really know what to expect. I hadn't watched any trailers or anything like that, and I've just recently kind of been watching, catching up on like Marvel films because I missed a bunch of them over the years. But it was really nice because it was like a hugely like women-focused Marvel film. It was like mostly women in it, and they were all like badass. And I think it was just really nice to see because a lot of the time, especially the earlier Marvel films, tend to be like just all men, all white men, pretty much. And it was just really nice to have that representation. I think so.
Sweet.
And my beloved Florence Pugh is in it. So
she was awesome. Her character
she's on the
was
list,
really
sure.
good. She's on the list. I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything before, but I was like,
She's
I really like her.
Midsommar, right?
Midsommar, yeah, she's amazing in Midsommar.
And Fighting with My Family.
Is she?
Which is
I
also
love
very, very good.
Midsommar.
Yeah, she's the main character.
Right, I didn't recognize her then.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I will just say we've got I didn't want to interrupt you, but we've got a super chat from Spinofty who says, I can do this again. Also, it might be about time to take a hammer to that PC, Mian. Baseball bat? Silly giant mallet? Anything. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah. The thing is about the PC is, right, it's given me a good decade, or not decade, Jesus, 5 years or so of good, honest work. But now it wants to be laid to rest, and I won't.
Jesus.
Give it a Viking funeral. Put it to sea on a burning boat.
Take it around the back of the barn and put a drill through the hard drive.
Put a magnet on it.
Doing a thing where it's like, until you let me sleep, I will make your life very difficult.
Jesus.
I'd also like to say, just to somebody in chat said, holding finger over mute button in case of spoilers. Don't worry, I will not spoil anything. I would never.
Yeah. Anything else, ladies?
No, that's everything I've been doing. Pretty much, just been. I've been watching some animes. I think I might have. Did I?
Whoa! Oh no!
It begins.
It's spreading.
I've been working on this for 2 years, and finally.
Well, actually, this is like little sneak peek, I guess. Somebody has done a little video. That will probably come up soonish on the channel somewhere.
Somebody.
I wonder who
it's
it could
about animes.
Somebody did a video.
So I was the one who edited the video, and I was like, and this someone, whoever it is,
Who
I
could
can't
it be?
say.
Vote now on your phones.
And they recommended 3 anime to watch if you're if you're starting out, or if you, I don't know, have been out of the loop for a while, which is in my case, because I used to watch anime quite a lot.
I was going to say, your first day on the job, you were wearing a Sailor Moon t-shirt, right? So.
Yeah, I used to be into it when I was a teenager, but then I just kind of fell out and just never really got back into it. But now I'm back into it. I've got a subscription to Crunchyroll, Funimation, like all the things.
Oh my god!
But anyway,
Lolies,
Here we go.
Do you want to spoil?
I'm not going to say
spoil the video.
No, I'm not going to spoil the video. I will say that 2 out of the 3 titles were what piqued my interest, and I started by watching those. And then because I was watching anime anyway, I ended up watching Attack on Titan, which I will say because that wasn't on the list, but Attack on Titan is very good, and I really like it. And I am watching it all the time.
All right, nice. Finally, someone to talk about anime with.
I think I really like Attack on Titan, but I don't remember if this is like a really anime thing or if it's just really specific to Attack on Titan. But one thing really grinds my gears though is that they just keep like, there's these moments which are supposedly like 3 seconds, but it's the anime character for like 3 minutes, like having this inner monologue, and it's like, oh my god.
Have you seen Dragon Ball Z?
That's very much like a staple of the genre. It's like, Dragon Ball is like notorious for having multiple episodes where they're just screaming and shouting at each other. And they'll be like, there's only 1 minute till something happens, and it'll be like 4 episodes.
No, but I wonder whether, and again, I'm not an expert, but I wonder if it had anything to do with like, it's just a lot cheaper to make those kind of
100%.
episodes.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
filler episodes are a massive thing in anime versus like manga.
Yeah, I've noticed as well, and I because it's been a while since I've watched anime, so I can't really remember, and I like to compare it to anything. But there's a lot of like just still shots where they just pan the camera, like instead of having like movement of like actual animation. Like, yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah,
Nice.
that's what I've been doing. It's been quite a lot. I've been very busy.
You've had a busy week.
Yeah, sounds like a busy week. My goodness. All right, Alex Meehan, let's shift on over to you. What have you been up to?
Matt, don't you mean Alex Meehan as my tag on the podcast?
Oh no! Why didn't you tell me? It's been like that. I can change it so easily. Oh, Mian.
It wasn't a good time. I didn't want to interrupt lovely conversation.
Where is it?
I'm fixing it. Hold on.
In the frame.
It reminded me when way back when I
had the red and black lumberjack.
When I pretty much first started at Dicebreaker, I remember you chastising me for putting too many E's in your second name.
No, here's the thing, though. That was a typo. I know how to spell your name. Whereas people assume that Whelan is how you spell it, you know? Like, which it's been my entire life telling people, no, there's one E. There's one E.
Mine's like the opposite. It's two E's, baby.
Baby.
Baby. Yeah, what have I been up to, Matt Jarvis? Oh my goodness, what a roller coaster.
And people wonder why this podcast isn't 1 hour long.
Hey, just building up the hype.
I mean, to be fair, we're 30 minutes in and Lolies has just finished, so I don't think we can be blamed.
Busy!
Right.
Also, I can see on the document that nobody else has been doing
anything. I played
anything,
like nothing, so me and... Take your time, it's fine.
Matt Jarvis, let me tell you about a little game called POKÉMON.
Oh, God.
I've had enough of Pokemon this week.
Oh, God. Yeah.
As you know, well...
The reason why Wills is groaning is because he was the victim of my...
He was the Gary to your... Yeah.
I was the Brock.
Yeah.
In that I was the punchline of the joke.
So I got an email from Matt Jarvis saying, Mian, block capitals underneath. We gotta cover more of the Pokemon.
This email never took place.
Picture of Matt smoking a cigar. We gotta get the Pokemon.
Give me some picture of the Pokemons.
The kids love it. So I replied saying, aye, Captain. Mm-hmm. And this week I've been playing the digital app for Pokemon,
which is
the trading card game. Look, it's got its ups and downs. Well, it's got its ups and downs. The downsides being very clear
from the first page.
I downloaded it and it looks like it's like a tutorial for like kids to use.
It looks like it came in a cereal packet.
Yeah, I'll exactly describe what it looks like. It looks like cast your mind back to like 2006 or something. You're on the internet.
You're on Neopets. I put visual reference in the chat because I screenshotted some of it, and it is, yeah.
It for some reason it looks like just the budget for this is very low in terms of the quality of the. So when you first boot it up, you have to do these tutorials and stuff that teach you how to play the game, and you play against these like characters they've made up. They're not like from the series or whatever, and they look like they've been drawn. Yeah, part of like a cheap free web game from the early 2000s. But the tutorials are actually pretty informative. I mean, it's not like a very complicated game at its core. It's pretty straightforward. It's what you recognize from Pokemon.
In the tutorial, you just rep like 5 10-year-olds, right? It's just like they turn out with their decks, and it's like, hey, play against this 10-year-old. And then you just absolutely kind of wipe them out with the deck that you've got.
There's a guy called Zach who has got a real like poop-eating grin, and he's he's very poorly drawn.
Of course, you were taking glee in this.
I reckon
like,
he's like 18. Actually, I don't think he's 10. Just the smugness on him is palpable.
Well, once you've beaten the scrubs, let's call them, you can now play the game sort of proper. And there's like a couple of challenges that you can do with solo play against the AI, which suddenly ramps the difficulty up because the packs, the decks they give you are really quite rubbish. I will say it is definitely a card game that's very based on luck, as we found with some of the coin flips. So when Mr. Whelan and I were playing some Pokemon, we had some incidents where you had an attack that was based purely on a coin flip.
My God. Can I? Do you mind if I tell this from my perspective? Because it's agonising. It is agonising. I don't mean to interject, but oh my God.
As long as not here for 10 minutes while you complain about this. So go on.
The thing is, right? Because we've been playing like Magic and stuff recently, and like I've made it quite clear there are a lot of problems with Magic. It's a really old game, and like there are some bits that I really don't vibe with. But it's still like a really great card game. Like I still really like playing it. Playing Pokemon, I assumed that it would be like a little bit simpler, but not like awful. It's so bad. I was just like sat there with. So Mian had this like ridiculous card that she'd pulled from a booster pack before we started playing, and we were both playing. We were both playing with like bog standard, like the easiest decks we could get.
No, that is not the case. You lie. You lie. We were playing with decks that we had made.
No, I was playing with one that I got given. Well,
you're a fool.
No, I also played with one that I had made, and it also did terribly. But so I was like coming up against. You had, what was it, like a V card or something, which basically meant that you had like an already leveled up card, but if I killed it, I got an extra thing or whatever.
Yeah, it's what's called like a V card. There was a specific set, and this is not standard. It's expanded. That there's a specific set that have these Pokemon that are pretty powerful, and it was a Morpeko, and it just had this ability that could do 20 damage.
300 health.
It did not have 300 health.
It had over 200.
Yeah, whatever. But it did like
look how she's trying to play it down. It was an absolute whitewash. I felt like I was being put in a bin by like high school bullies. It was horrendous. I like played one of the like normal creatures that has like 70 health or whatever and like a crappy attack. And like I think I just wasn't drawing enough energy or something. Pokemon's really weird. Like it's a weird card game because it doesn't really play like any others that I've played, because you have like one creature that is always up front and everything else is basically not doing anything, and then you're like playing magic onto it to like activate its abilities or energy, sorry, not magic. But anyway, so I had like one attack and it was like it didn't really do any damage, but you flip a coin and if it's heads, you paralyze the opponent instead. And I was like, okay, I've got this massive creature coming up against me, but at least I can try and paralyze it to try and get, some footing back. 10 times in a row I flipped tails, and I swear to God, I was ready to break my computer, and my one isn't even flipping got anything wrong with it.
It's not wishing for the sweet relief.
Oh God, it was so painful.
Right, so let me, from my perspective, as the person with the deck, I did get this card from a pack. I recognise it is a stupid card. I was lucky enough to draw it in my first hand. Pokemon is one of those games where, and this happens in other trading card games as well, I will defend, that if you do get in a certain situation, then your opponent is basically ruined.
Yeah.
Because, and it's happened to me where like, if you can get like a second or third evolutionary Pokemon like in your active slot, then you've basically won the game, unless the other person somehow like manages to pick up speed. Like it is very much a game that is dependent on card draws. There are a lot of coin flip stuff. Not every Pokemon has coin flip moves attached to it.
Though.
A fair number do. Yeah. I don't know. I'm the more reasonable person. This is not because I won. It's literally. I'm so tired. It's literally because, and Matt Jarvis will back me up on this as well.
Don't bring me into this.
It's your fault. We're playing, Matt. Oh, the SEO is really good on Pokemon, gang. Let's learn how to play Pokemon.
It's not a terrible game. Like, as someone who doesn't really care for Magic that much, like, for me, it's a lot more straightforward. There's a lot less, like, nonsense text on the cards, which I think helps me. I also have an attachment to the license, so I like the Pokemon. And I don't know, to me, I just feel there's a lot less stakes involved. Like, I don't know, like, I've lost some Pokemon games and it's felt a lot less worse than losing a Magic game. I don't know. It just feels like there's a lot less.
You also just don't really have any options, though, I think, which is what was so frustrating for me. Because it was like...
Well, really the case.
Well, no, because you can only have one active creature. It basically means that, like...
But you can retreat at any time you want.
Yeah, but then you just swap it with another single creature,
Yeah.
right? So it's like... It doesn't matter if I have lots of low-level creatures, because I might as well just have one, because I can't combine them. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in Magic, if I've got, like... I might have 1/1 goblins or whatever, but if I've got 10 of them, then I've got something to work with. You know, even if you've got, like, a 20/20 sat on your side or something, you know?
I don't know, Pokemon is just a different game, where it's like... If it's more about getting that really... Because it's the case of, like, there are Pokemon... who are just fundamentally better than other Pokemon. So if you can get one of those Pokemon into your...
Sudowoodo.
Sudowoodo.
Yeah.
If you can get...
As well, we haven't talked about the art.
I'm not saying it's the best game ever.
No. But yeah, I found it incredibly frustrating. It's what I wanted to say.
It's one of those things that's like pretty faithful to the games as well, because in the video games you can get... Like, your Pokemon can be paralyzed, I think, and it's just a hidden dice roll of whether it, like, unparalyzes and you can do stuff. Because otherwise you can just get attacked and attacked and attacked. I think, Wills, there is a chance that... I'm not saying that, like, you're wrong, because you're not. Like, there are massive flaws to the game. But you might just suit a deck that has more trainer cards, because they are more like sorceries in Magic that let you do things with your deck and pull cards out, so you don't have to rely on just drawing the right thing.
I don't know if it's just because, like, we only had the baby cards, right? Oh, what you got there?
Oh, is that Kingler?
Oh,
I can't see what it is.
Still...
I know what it is.
This is like one of those puzzles where it slowly reveals.
Oh, no, we know what that card is.
It's a Grumpig, right?
It's Grumpig.
Yeah.
It's one of the ugliest cards I've ever seen.
No.
Unfortunately, it's focusing on the chair brand, I think. You need to cover up the chair brand. There you go.
Oh, there we go. There's Grumpig.
Oh, that is awful. Sorry, for people at home.
The ugliest
Yeah, this is great audio podcast.
Yeah, Lolies is showing Grumpig, which has art
Looks
that looks
like
like it was
it's been
done by a
drawn
10-year-old.
by a 5-year-old.
Oh,
Yeah,
5-year-old. Wow, okay. I was more more conceding. I can't remember a word. Sorry. But yeah, no, the art is pretty, like, hit and miss.
Some of it's great, yeah. Some of it's really good, and some of it is just kind of
I'll
wild.
see it, Lolies.
I know, I'm working on it. Give me a minute.
It really doesn't like it, does it?
No.
Oh, there we go.
That's not...
Glameow?
It's not awful.
Glameow, that's it, right. Glam and meow, right.
But yeah, anyway, I hated it. Yeah, I don't know if it's because we were playing with the baby cards, but, like, the training cards were just, like, draw more cards or, like, heal. And there wasn't really anything interesting that I could... From the ones that I had available to me, there wasn't really anything interesting I could play with, to be honest. But yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Well, I enjoyed it. I hope, like, it... Don't get me wrong. It's like, I mean, like we said before, it's a game that's almost fundamentally for children.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
it's like 6-year-olds.
It's not going to... It's not going to be as, like, complicated as Magic the Gathering, because it just has a fundamentally different audience. I will say that the app at least gives you, like... It at least gives you a decent selection of cards to start with. Like, I've not spent any money whatsoever, and I've already got, like, a fairly decent collection of cards.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Arena, isn't it? Where you get, like, here's a yellow deck, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's much better than that. I genuinely think it's much more generous than Arena, like, because I've already got, like, a fair, good selection and collection of cards just from logging into the game, playing a couple of matches and doing some of the tutorial stuff, and it just gives you some stuff. That means that I've been able to create several different decks that work, because there's actually a deck wizard in there as well, which I think is really good.
Deck wizard is very cool.
I think it's a much more accessible like digital card game. Just in terms of like the way it plays and what it gives you. Like when I came into Magic Arena, someone who's not really played Magic much, yeah, there's lots of tutorials. They give you some basic decks that are rubbish.
They're not rubbish. Like, you can play with them, genuinely. Like, I think
you can play with them, but they're not very good.
I think what's great, what I really like about them is they're good, like, starters. So, like, I have built a deck that works really well in Arena, but it was literally just based off the basic white deck that was there, you know? Like, you can sort of build off of them, kind of thing, if that makes sense. I think it's similar in Pokemon, right? Where it's like, here's like a basic like lightning deck. Here's like a basic water deck. Like, here's some creatures that you can mess around with, and then you can move things into it and mess around with it and tinker and build it to your kind of style, if that makes sense. I really like the they had that wizard as well, right, Mian? The deck wizard thing, which is a really cool idea.
I did mention that, yeah.
Did it?
Yep.
Really? Oh god, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that. Sorry. I've been keeping an eye on chat as well. I think my brain just... Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, no, it is a really good function where you can literally just pick 1 or 2 Pokemon and it'll build a deck around that. Like, again, I'm not saying it's the best card game in the world. I can see why it is frustrating. Like, it is very luck-based, and it is for babies, but...
It's not for babies.
It's kind of for babies.
It definitely like has an audience that skews younger, I think, than Magic, but like there is like a big scene because Pokemon's just been going ages, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying only babies can enjoy it. I'm saying it's built for babies, Matt. Like, you know, plenty of adults watch children's TV, right? You know, that's fine. But it's still built for babies.
Right, well, we'll agree to differ. And I don't know, like I just been sort of enjoying, like I played some over lunchtime. Like I used the deck wizard to just build a deck with some of the Pokemon I had, and that takes a lot of the annoyance out of it for me, because I don't like deck building. I find it boring. And so for that to just do it for me, and then I can play a game with a deck that actually somewhat works. And this was a game where it's like, initially it started off not great because I just had mill tanks. I just had an army of mill tanks. Like, this was a water-based deck.
It was milk-based.
I was going to say, yeah.
No, sorry. It was a mixture of normal types and psychic types. Sorry, this wasn't a deck that I'd made. It was the deck that I'd been given.
Oh, that was the one I played against you as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was full of. I just had no psychic Pokemon. It was all mill tanks, and then my opponent had the audacity to use Swoobat against me, which that really upset me.
That was my one little like, well, I've got Swoobat in this deck, so at least I can turn her lob against her. Oh my god.
All right, Mian, have you been playing anything else quickly-ish?
Not really, just Pokemon. And then yeah, I watched some Lupin. That's on Netflix. Pretty good.
Oh,
is it about wolves?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It was about werewolves.
Nope.
Is it about?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm in like a reception class.
I think there's a slight delay, so every time I start, it's like... Anyway, go on.
I think all the stuff that I've played this week, we've been talking about, right? So it's fine.
Wait, I still don't know what Lupin is about. Mian, tell me, please.
Oh, it's about it's about a French detective. Like, it's the Lupin,
that
like,
yeah,
the Lupin, like the classic series of like thief novels.
Oh, I haven't heard of them.
But it's a modern take on it. It's a French television show, so there are subtitles. If you have a problem with that, it's really good. It's on its 2nd season.
Where's that on Netflix or where?
Yes, on Netflix. I would recommend. It's a really interesting show where it takes some of the classic. It's like Sherlock, but not terrible.
Yeah.
It's like good Sherlock.
Sherlock started okay.
I was thinking I was thinking of Lupin the Third, which is the anime.
It's the Lupin the Third is both the anime and the Ghibli film.
Yeah.
Which is also based on Lupin.
Yeah.
Like it's based on the same thing, but this is like a French modern show based on Lupin, and it's very good.
That's cool. I've not heard of this or the original books for that point, but I like detective stuff, so I'm going to go check this out.
There you go.
Thanks for the recommendation. All right.
Wheels.
Yeah, no, so I played Magic with Lolies and I played Pokemon with you, so we don't have to spend even more time on what we played. But I have been playing some sealed for the new Magic set. So I've sealed, for anyone who hasn't played it, basically you get 6 packs and then you just have to make a deck out of what you get. And I'm halfway through one. I got 3 wins and 3 losses. You lose after 3, basically. If you lose 3 times, you're out, but you can try and get more prizes. It's gambling. I did a run where I got 3 and 3, and I'm currently 2 and 3 at the moment. So I'm not doing well, but I am actually really enjoying it. The new set is really, really fun. They've got like the class cards, which are really cool. They've got the dungeon stuff. Like, yeah, there's loads of really fun new mechanics that they've added in. I think it's actually a really good set, which is surprising because it's Magic and Dungeons & Dragons. So I would expect it to be a very boring, easy set. But actually, I think it's quite lovingly made. Like, it's really cool. I've been really enjoying it. So I recommend it.
Awesome. Yeah, we should actually we'll have some more on Adventures in the Forgotten Realms on the website and probably the video channel soon.
And as I said, you can watch our Let's Play as well, which went out
yesterday. And check it out. All right. Well, is that everything from your end?
Yeah. I also played... I actually started teaching Liv as well because we played a physical sealed. Like we had some packs in the office, so it was cold time in the end because it was just ones that were lying around. But like I was like, right, Liv, let's build a deck together. Let's like teach you the ways of Magic, kind of thing. And yet Lolies still beat her.
Spoiler!
In the game that we didn't do on video, which it's not a spoiler. But there you go. Yeah.
I am excited. I would like to play Draft and Sealed because I think that's where the deck construction element becomes interesting for me, where it's almost like part of the whole thing. I don't want to spend hours before like researching the meta. And
the reason I really like Sealed is because everyone's kind of on equal footing. It's like you've all got random cards, and sometimes someone will just happen to like. I think Chase, our reporter, got like 2 of the most rare cards in his Sealed drafts. And I was like, oh, okay, great. But like normally you'll get like some good cards, some bad cards. You just have to make what you... It's kind of Keyforge-y, where it's like, okay, just make what you can from the stuff that you've been given, you know? And I really like that element. But they make you pay to play it, so that's good.
Yeah, I think friend of the site, Jason Coles, who will be on next week, actually, if all goes well, on the podcast next week, to chat more Magic. He wrote about Pack Wars a couple of months ago, and that's you take 1 booster pack and basically add some lands to it. You don't look at the booster pack, and it's like you get a mini deck.
Oh my god!
And then you just play with it, and that seemed really fun.
Sounds really
like a
fun.
kind of
that's
almost like a Keyforge style.
How do you know what lands
everyone's
to use?
I think you do 5 of each mana color or something like that. It balances out. So.
Right.
But all right,
cool.
As for me, I've not played anything this week. I tried to play the Pokemon card game with Mian at one point. And then I couldn't log in, and it was like, we'll send you a verification email in the next 24 hours. It's been 24 hours. They've still not sent me that email, so
oh my God.
I don't think I'll ever be able to log in. I have some packs registered on there as well from like.
I assume you've checked your junk. Okay.
Yeah.
Liv is in the chat. Liv, go edit your video. Liv's got a very exciting video that's coming out on the weekend, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this for a particular reason. In terms of other stuff, I've been watching the latest series of Documental, at least the latest series to be broadcast in English or subbed into English.
I'm going to guess that's an anime.
No. So Documental, for those who don't know, there is a Japanese film director called Hitoshi Matsumoto, who made some of the strangest, funniest films I've ever watched. R100, I can't even begin to describe in this podcast because YouTube will probably not like me, but it is so surreal and strange. And one of the few films I've literally cried with laughter at in the cinema when I saw it at Fright Fest just on a whim. But he came up with this program that is, it's kind of like a social experiment in that they get famous Japanese comedians. They get 10 Japanese comedians. They lock them in a room together. They each put in, I think it's 1 million yen. It's about 6.5 grand.
Okay, yeah.
And Matsumoto puts in another 6.5 grand or million yen. And then they have to last 6 hours without laughing, because if they laugh, they get eliminated and they cannot win the money. And if there are multiple people left, nobody gets it, or at least in the first series at least. And it is so odd, and it is fair warning to people who go and seek this out. There is a lot of nudity. There are definitely some problematic elements in some of the jokes that the comedians make, particularly in the early seasons, which are not so good. But generally, it's just fascinating to watch a load of people who are clearly, creatively minded, basically just throwing stuff at the wall, and comedians having to react to a lack of response from the audience because the rest of the people in the room can't laugh because they'll lose money. So they'll say something and everyone will just deadpan. But then it's the moments where they'll say something that is not very funny or do something completely mundane and someone just cracks from the kind of, unexpectedness of it. It is very odd. It's very funny. I think they've adapted it into various other languages and regions. I think they call it Last One Laughing. I think there's an Australian one with Rebel Wilson, which I've not watched. It's quite the show. I would recommend it if you're after something very odd and very funny. But yeah, like I say, there are just a couple of elements where you might want to watch out for. In terms of other stuff, I watched Too Hot to Handle. Liv spoke about this last week and reminded me that there's a new series. It's wonderful trash television. I'm far too invested in some of the couples on it. It's a program where you aren't allowed to have sex or kiss on an island because you lose money out of a prize fund. But they basically just get like...
Mate, it is some of the worst.
They get like the most sexed up people you have ever seen in your life who are like, I can't go 2 hours without like doing something. It's so bizarre.
I feel like if that is the case, they need to seek like
at least look into some like
there are elements where they have like workshops and like in the way that reality TV does, they have like a workshop and they're suddenly like, I'm like, I've realized so much about myself. I'm a different person. And it's like, it's like a 2-hour workshop really gonna reverse the fact that you're really quite horrible to a lot of people. It's
television is such trash.
Brilliant trash. It's brilliant trash. It's very well produced. They do a very good job of getting you invested.
Yes, Matt. It's the television that has done a very good job.
Other than that,
Love Island is awful as well.
It's like the opposite of Love Island, though.
Yeah, but I think Love Island's almost even worse because they encourage people to like get into relationships and then break those up and get to other relationships, and it's just like really weird.
It's manipulative.
It's toying with people's feelings. It's awful. I watched like 1 or 2 episodes before, and it was like they brought in like somebody's ex to go have drinks with somebody who, like with that person's like the person that person was seeing in Love Island, and it was like just really, really horrible. Like it's no, I can't stand it.
Matt, anything else you've been doing?
No, not really, but I will say that I didn't pull it for news, but I wanted a game to talk about. And this is a smaller one, but there's an RPG called Weird Stories that was, I think, teased a little while ago by Gil Hover, who designed The Networks, which is a pretty good board game, and Wordsy, which is a pretty good word game, and a couple of other things. High Rise, I think, is one of theirs as well. But it seems really cool. It's inspired by things like Murakami, the novelist, like David Lynch. Movies, Twilight Zone, Lost is mentioned in there, and the idea of it is that it's very rules light. I think it's compared to something like Fiasco, but the premise of it is that it's kind of in the same way that a David Lynch movie, you'll come out and go, what the heck did I just watch? There's an element of you'll end the session as a group and you won't have answered every question, and there will be things deliberately kind of left unexplained or unresolved, which I think is a really interesting concept. So I am really looking forward to that. I think it's out later this year. But it was one of those things that kind of passed me by, and then I spotted there was some more news on it, and it's like, this sounds right on my street. Fiasco's a great game, like a great system and structure. And I think kind of indie RPGs looking at like like I say, more kind of story-driven experiences where you don't have to have a very neat, hooray, we won. You know, I'm very excited for it. All right, let's shift over.
That only took us 1 hour.
Hey, that's about right nowadays. Let's shift over to news. There's quite a lot here. So we're going to cram a bunch together. As you will know if you've listened to the podcast recently, we now just kind of recap a couple of stories. If you want to go and get the full news, go on over to dicebreaker.com. Like we have daily news, like
Get outta
write
here.
a lot of stuff.
After the podcasts.
Yes, some of the highlights from recently. Me and you spoke to the Earthborn Rangers creator Andrew Navarro, previously creative director of Arkham Horror, the living card game, and Marvel Champions, and so on.
Yeah.
That's a new game coming out of his new studio. You also covered the fan-made Pokemon game, which is wild. Speaking of Pokemon, it's like the whole of Pokemon, and I think they said it took them like 13 hours to finish, or 11 hours to finish, or something.
More than that, 23 or something.
Yeah. We had Ewan Wilson write something about Mobius, the French comic artist, and his kind of influence on tabletop RPGs, like indie RPGs. I wrote up a list of board game Easter eggs. I believe Chase is maybe putting something up very soon about the new Magic set. There's a lot of stuff on the website, so head on over. But we've pulled a couple of stories to just quickly recap here. I don't even know how to get into this first one, so I'm just going to basically summarize it because it's more of a PSA than anything else.
Yeah.
Because what a mess. So the last few days, there have been various different major board game conventions around the world have come out and kind of defined their current guidelines on COVID-19 and the coronavirus. Notably, the UK Games Expo, which is happening at the end of this month, have said that in line with the UK government's decision to just drop everything on the 19th.
Which is also incredibly stupid.
UK Games Expo basically said, oh yeah, we're not going to require masks, we're not going to require tests, we're not going to limit, we're not basically not going to have any requirements or restrictions. There's some social distancing in place and ventilation in the venue. But in terms of checking anything at the door, they, on the new guidelines, they say, hey, if you could do a test before you come along, that'd be great, but we have no way of checking it, so it'd just be for your own kind of peace of mind. It's like, that's not the way to do this. Like that, you can't do that and just rely on people. Same with masks, is they say, oh, we recommend you bring one because there might be times that you want to wear one. And it's like, how about all the time?
I've been going to the cinema like for the last few weeks since like things have kind of calmed down a bit, but it's always been like pretty quiet, and like the cinemas have been really good with like putting several seats between you and the next person over, so you're very socially distant. You also like sometimes leave a different exit than you come in to avoid like meeting too many people in the hallways, and it's always been like really quiet. And I went to cinema last night, and it was like one of the first nights that Black Widow was out in the cinema, and it was really busy. Like it was quite busy, like, and I was stressed in that situation, so I couldn't even imagine being in like a convention hall with nobody wearing masks, nothing like in place at all. I can't even. Oh, it's just so.
Even just watching the Euros, like because as the crowds have been getting bigger, it's made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And that's an open air stadium. Like, this is like the NEC in Birmingham. Like, this is just a big box room. It's like,
it's irresponsible. It's really irresponsible.
Really
yeah, so it's worth saying. So the reasoning they've given is kind of, we're just following what the government are doing. But as far as I understand it, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this with a large pinch of salt. As far as I understand it, private events like this can choose to enforce their own rules, or at least set, recommendations or some kind of. But they've just basically dropped everything and said, you worry about it. It's kind of. It's like their angle is like, we're putting confidence in our attendees, and it's like. That's really wishful thinking. Like maybe it's being done with the best of intentions, but it's such wishful thinking. It's not being done with realism in mind. I don't think.
I've seen people online who like have run events like this and have said stuff like, it's to be fair to them, like if they don't have like government backing, etc., like basically saying they didn't have much of a choice, but. That argument always pales when it's there's the choice to just not run the event. If you don't have the resources to keep people safe, then you shouldn't be running the event. And it doesn't matter if the government has, which I don't mind saying, as Michael Whelan, the human, have been pretty awful considering, this entire pandemic. Like, I wouldn't follow their advice anyway. But as a company, like, if the option is lose money or potentially lose lives, one of those is always the obvious choice, right? And it's the first. Like, I can't see myself ever defending that position. It's just dumb. It's really dumb.
So to add to that, so that came out. Obviously, people responded to that. Then Gen Con, the US event happening in Indianapolis in, I think it's mid-September, maybe end of September. It was pushed out of August when it usually takes place. So a little later in the year, America, different country, different time. They have said that they will enforce masks for people who aren't vaccinated, but for people who are vaccinated, it's up to them, which is, again, just kind of one of those things of like, I don't know, that's a lot of trust in people, right? It's like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable just assuming that people are going to essentially do the right thing. Like,
well,
at some
the problem
point...
with that is I'm pretty sure it's been proven that even people who've been doubly vaccinated, I mean, I know of people been doubly vaccinated who still are getting it, and like
they can still carry it as well. That's the main
thing.
And
there's variants and
there's variants and everything. So I don't think that's much better. Like, it's no.
Yeah. So yeah, and then finally, Essen Spiel, which is happening in mid-October. I reached out to the organisers of that show, and they said so we've almost got like 3 points on a spectrum here. We've got UK Games Expo, Gen Con, and then Essen Spiel have said that to be granted entry, you will need to present proof of full vaccination or immunization. They're also saying, or a negative test. COVID test within the last 48 hours. All masks will be mandatory for everyone. Anyone that isn't wearing a mask will be removed from the event.
Yeah.
And they're also
in
like
October as well, like not the end of this month, right?
Yeah. And I think one of the nice things about Spiel when I spoke to Spiel is I followed up and kind of said, okay, like that's all well and good, but they mentioned that it was kind of in line with the local state of West Rhineland. I can't remember the full name of that, I'm sorry. But basically the region of Germany where Essen is, it's kind of in line with that at the moment. I said, okay, if that changes, are you going to change the requirements? And they said, no, like regardless of what happens with Germany, with the region, we will require masks for everyone, which feels like more of the approach to take of just, you can't rely on at some point, you can't rely on the country or the government.
And it's also like
there's
a lot of like saying, oh, it's not their fault, etc. But like that's first of all, there's an example of another event who, sure, they're bigger, but also they've got way more space between like vaccines rolling out and their event, and they're still taking more precautions. But also like just testing, like asking for test results. Like I got off the train literally today in Brighton, and they were handing out free COVID tests in the UK. Like, here's a free COVID test, just take it. Like, it's not difficult to get tested anymore, even if you don't have access to a vaccine. And if you can't just like pass a test on the day that you're going, then don't go to an event. Like, stop putting other people at risk for the sake of going to a board game event, right?
If you are going to, Yeah. So again, I'd advise people to go and check out those guidelines in full. We're obviously kind of breezing through it a bit here. There are much more detailed versions on the respective websites for those events. And obviously they are potentially subject to change in the months to come, or for UK Games Expo weeks, because they don't have months. So yeah, like if you are planning on attending these events, if you feel comfortable with doing that, then obviously check the guidelines and just look after yourself and look after others. And if you don't feel comfortable, then like you are doing the right thing for you. Like that, at the end of the day, it's looking after yourself and looking after others. So just take care out there, folks. Let's move on to some happier news, shall we? There have been a lot of game announcements this week. Now that we don't have a news station, I'm going to kind of breeze through them. But let's kind of do like a quick fire reaction to some of these. Okay, so there's a new Unmatched.
Yeah. Oh, looks cool. The Bloody Mary looks really cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Unmatched. It's such a good series. I want to see more of it. I'm so glad that they're not just doing the IP ones, they're also doing like their own sets based on like, you know, IP free characters. It's gonna have Achilles, Bloody Mary, um, Sun Wukong,
Gay
otherwise known as
icon
Monkey
Achilles,
King.
by the way.
Yes, gay icon Achilles. And the already announced Yanenga, the I'm so sorry, the Princess of Ghana, Northern Ghana. So like it looks really good. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, they've been doing some really cool stuff for that series. Really, really interesting stuff. They're also doing a digital version, right? So later this year, Mian?
Yeah, December they're releasing a digital. At the moment, the only art and characters they've referenced are from Volume 1. But they might release the other characters afterwards. And the developer seems to have slash publisher seem to have done a lot of board game stuff in the past. So they seem to have like a bit of a pedigree. So hopefully it'll be good.
All right. Next on the block is Artisans of Splendent Vale. Not a familiar name by itself, but it comes from Nikki Valens. They are the co-designer of Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. I believe they also co-designed Eldritch Horror. They led the design, I think, on the 3rd edition of Arkham Horror. They created Legacy of Dragonholt. They are Fantasy Flight. They've also done Quirky Circuits, I think, for Plaid Hat. So they have like a really strong repertoire. I really love their games. This appears to be like a narrative game coming out of Renegade, which is the Clank publisher. So it's exciting news for me.
Renegade do loads. I will say, Legacy of Dragonholt, I had fun playing, but the writing is bad. It's like real schlocky, but if you don't mind that, then it's a good laugh.
Yeah. All right. If we don't have any more thoughts on that, let's roll on through to Machi Koro
2.
Yeah. I saw pictures of some of the cards in it, and I got really excited because I thought, oh, cool, like new buildings and stuff. And then I checked, and it's the same buildings. It's just it looks like you can do slightly different things. So I don't know.
Interesting
I want
new
to see.
hairstyle, by the way.
Yeah, Lolies.
I want to find out more and really find out like what the additions are, because like the fact that it's the same businesses as before is kind of disappointing to me.
It sounds more like a 2nd edition rather than a 2, you know?
No, but it does seem like they have, yeah, I guess it does look like they've got slightly different mechanics somewhere. I remember seeing a card and being like, oh, that's interesting, but yeah, I just like, there's so many other businesses you could cover. Why not just do something new? I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah,
this one
I
is
think
actually
it's-
really exciting than the next one. Oh, sorry, carry on. I thought you were jumping on. No, sorry, Matt, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's interesting to see a numbered sequel to a board game, which is not something that often happens. Normally, it is like a 2nd edition, right? But calling it Machi Koro 2 is like an odd thing in my mind because it sounds like it's continuing the story of Machi Koro, and there is no story.
Last
of
time
Machi Koro.
on Machi
It's roll
Koro.
dice and build a thing.
It should have been called Machikoro Ni instead.
Yes.
That's true. Or Machikoro, 2 Machi, 2 Corius.
2D2.
D2.
Isn't that just a coin?
Machu Koro?
Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, like drive free R. They should have put the 2 in there. So let's bring back numbers as letters in sequels.
Or Res 7 and Evil.
Okay, let's move on to the last one I've got on this quick list of
this is very
announcements.
exciting.
It's the Queen's
Now
Dial.
that's how you name a sequel.
Yeah.
I actually didn't even see that. That's exciting.
That's super exciting. I feel like I missed King's Dilemma. Like it went past me. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Did you not? You weren't there when we played it.
No. I was part of the Let's Play, but we just did
you
like the
were,
promo pack.
Yeah, we didn't
Whereas
do much.
Right.
like Johnny did the entire thing with friends and stuff, and like
Yeah, I think they
it was Sarah
really
at the
got
time
into
who reviewed it, right? And it was just like I was chomping at the bit to play it, but didn't have a good group. And now I've got a group in mind, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna play Queen's Dilemma. Hell yeah, we are. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, so
Right.
presumably it's just King's Dilemma, but you're the queen now? Or
Sisters are doing it for themselves.
you're like advising the queen, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they put loads of information out. I've suddenly blanked on the story that
The art
Chase
looked
wrote
really
up.
nice though.
Go and check it out on the website.
Don't read the story yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, get out of here.
Dicebreaker.com.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to say it again?
Get out of here.
All right, let's
Go.
shift over from news to this week's fun little segment, which comes courtesy of one Michael Whelan.
I might just put loads of E's in it and then update the frame. So this was inspired by a joke that we were talking about in the Dicebreaker Slack when the new Warhammer set came out. Because I was reading out all of the unit names for the Orruks. And it's just like you can just put two words together and spell them wrong, and that is an orc name. So I thought we'd put this to the test. Considering I'm probably the only one who's super into Warhammer in this group. Matt, you've got like a general understanding.
I have a Warhammer past.
Yeah, Warhammer.
I was big into like OG Warhammer.
Yeah,
but Age of Sigmar I haven't got into.
So this is a segment that I am calling "Do You Know Your Orcs from Your Orks?" Which is
Do you know your orcs from your
Orruks. Orks. Which is something that you can play along with at home, and it's very simple. I am going to read out the name of an orc unit, either from Warhammer 40k or Warhammer Age of Sigmar, but some of them will be ones that I have made up. Can you tell which ones are real and which ones are not? Play now at home with the new Dicebreaker podcast segment. Do you know your orcs from your Orruks? Okay, is everyone ready? It's very simple. I'm going to read out an orc name in an orc voice, and you're going to have to decide if you think it is true.
And an orc voice makes it harder as well.
I'm gonna ask you to say if you think it is a real name or a fake name. And remember, this could be from 40k, which is the sci-fi one, or it could be from Age of Sigmar, which is the fantasy one. Okay? Are we all ready?
Even some of the ones that came up in that Slack channel, I am dreading this.
I'm keeping score. I'm going to keep score.
I've got a little score sheet here.
Button.
Oh, okay. You've got a score sheet.
So what is it? Whoever yells out first?
No. Just you can all in your own time tell me what your answer is, and you'll either get a point or you won't.
I think Matt should go last, seeing as he knows.
I will. That's very kind of you, Lolies, but I will not have a clue.
You do have the biggest affiliation, so I think we'll say that Matt answers last. But here we go. Your first orc name is Defcopter.
True.
Def what?
Defcopter.
You spell deaf and copter, please?
Can I?
This is a
question. Sure. Yeah.
Is this a unit?
This is a model or models that you could buy.
Okay.
Sure, I'll spell it. Why not? Defffkopta. Defcopter.
No, false.
Okay.
True.
Matt?
I'm going to say false because I think deaf is spelled D-E-T-H in orc stuff.
Okay, are we ready?
Copter sounds right.
The answer is true. That's a point for me and zilch for
true,
Matt
and then I
Lolies.
changed.
Oh, you shouldn't have changed, Lolies. Defcopter.
I thought I was like, it's definitely true, but then when you spelt it, I was like, no, that can't be right.
D-E-F-F, really?
Yeah, Defcopter is, as you can probably tell, a helicopter with orcs in it, which I assume is what it looks like when Mian does the news.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for round two? Your next one is Cockslitters.
What?
This is why I dreaded this section.
I'm sorry, what, Mr. Whelan?
Cockslitters.
That's true.
K-O-K. S-L-I-T-T-A-Z. Cockslitters.
I'm saying true.
That's a true from Lolies. False from Mian.
Nah, that's not real.
I'm afraid that is a point for everyone but Lolies. It is a false. That is one that I made up.
The reason I said it was true because I was like, there's no way Wheels would have made that up for the podcast.
You think way too highly of me, Lolies. I wrote that down and I was like, I probably shouldn't put that in, but I'm gonna.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's move on. We got loads of these to get through. Rough nuts.
True.
Rough nuts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say true.
Is it rough like R-U-F-F, like a dog toy?
It's R-O-U-G-H.
Nah, not real.
Final answers?
Mm-hmm.
It is not real.
Oh! Sneaky sneak.
Point for Matt
I'm the
only.
worst.
Lolies, you're 0 at the moment. Okay, fourth on the list is Odd Boy.
Who?
Odd Boy.
Odd boy.
ARDBOY.
Odd boy.
Odd Boy.
I think it's false.
I think it's false.
Nah, that's real.
That is real, I'm afraid. Another point for Matt. It's a good thing we did
This
put
is
you last.
hard.
It is hard. All right, are we ready?
What can I say? I know my cocksweaters from my odd boys.
This is one of my favourite ones.
I
Sorry.
bet you do.
Okay, you ready? Gorkamorka's Savage Poker!
Offended him.
The fact your microphone's blown out a little bit is making this all the better.
Gorkamorka's Savage Poker!
You
I'm not-
sound like
I'm
a
saying
Warcraft
true.
2 sample.
Borka, savage porker.
Gorkamorka's, which is possessive, Savage Porker.
I'm saying
Yeah,
true.
it's true. I think it's true.
Yeah, Gorkamorka's a thing, yeah.
I'm afraid that's false.
Oh!
No points for anyone.
Thank you.
Gorkamorka is a real, it is the god of the orcs. But yeah, I'm afraid I made that one up. The problem is I'm laughing at my own jokes. So I'm going to have to try and laugh at all of them. All right, next up is Flash Gits.
Flash gets.
Flash Gits.
True.
Loli says true.
Yeah.
Flash
I think-
gets.
I've been wrong with everyone so far, so if you want to get this right, just vote against me.
Flash Gits.
I think
I
like
think
this
it's
is giving me
false.
real hard memories of like explaining my job to any of my family or older relatives. So they're just like, "What's it called?" Flash Gits.
What do you reckon, Mian?
I think it's false. I don't think it's true.
Matt?
It's true, yeah.
That is Loli's first point on the board because it's true!
Flash gets.
Ding ding
I
ding ding
win.
ding.
Up next is Cruel Killer.
True.
Brawl killer.
Cruel Killer.
Yeah, I think it's true.
Yeah,
I'm afraid that's false.
that's right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're going for the ones
This-
that are sounding too normal. This is the problem.
Cool Boys is like a thing, right? In Orcs.
The Cruel Boys
something.
are the brand new faction in Warhammer Age of Sigmar
That's
Dominion.
right.
So I bamboozled you there, my friends. Up next is a Mega Boss.
True. Mega Boss.
Mega Boss.
Yeah, true. Why not? I'll go with Lolies.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true. That is a point each.
He didn't
That's
find
the
that
one
one
that you
very
push it to
funny,
the
so
fan,
that's how I knew.
Okay, well, get ready for this one. Merc Knob.
False.
I don't know now because we have flash gets.
This is my favorite segment we've done yet. I was
love
so
how he's
excited for
laughing
this.
and we can't hear it because Discord's like, nah, mate, this is too
Merc
loud.
Knob.
Merc knob. I think it's true. I'm gonna go with true. Merc knob.
Ah, see, I know that knob's a thing in Orcs, but I feel like you're bamboozling once again. So I'm gonna say that this isn't real.
Can I have your answers again there? Sorry. So Matt says not real. Mian says
I said false, and
Loli
you
I
says
said
think
yes.
it's real.
that is a
Merc
point
Knobs.
for Mian then because
Yes!
Merc Knob is one of the brand new units and they come with a Belcher banner. And not only that, but we painted them on the stream on Wednesday. So
This
there you
this
go.
sounds like my son.
Merc Knob with a Belcher banner is the actual.
Yeah. Send them out to battle.
All right, are we ready? Coming up next is Jawbreakers.
How is is
Okay,
there an
this
S
is
or a Z at the end?
this is Jawbrakaz.
Right. I don't know whether you put that in there because oh no, jawbreakers. I'm gonna say true.
True from
I'm
Mian.
saying false.
False from Lolies.
False. Yeah.
False from Matt. I'm afraid Mian doesn't get a point because that is false.
Yeah.
The Z was a. It was
I'm
a
definitely winning this.
All right, up next is Metal Boys.
metal boy.
Metal
Sounds like Mad
Boys.
Max.
Is that what a Z at the end?
Yeah, it's a Z. Yeah.
See, now though, Wheels knows the trick with the Z, so that doesn't necessarily confirm.
I'll be honest. Yeah, Rough Nuts was my fault. I should have spelt that wrong.
Yeah.
What are they called again?
They're called Metal Boys.
Metal Boys. I don't know.
I'll say true.
Yeah, true again. I'm saying true for all of these now. I'm just giving it a 50-50.
And that's not true. I reckon that's a falsie.
That's a point for Matt because I'm afraid I've made that one up. We're getting towards the end now. Next
a
up
metal boy
is
knows a metal boys.
Next up is Stomper.
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 Stompa.
Yes.
True.
Oh, now I want it to be true. Stomper.
Just will it into life.
It's so true. I can feel it in my bones how true this is.
Lolies can feel it in her fingers and her toes.
Nuts is all around
the thing
me.
is, I've been saying true to all of
Wog
these.
is all around me.
I'm going to say it's false.
Matt?
I reckon it's Stomp is a thing.
True.
Yeah.
That is another lost point for me, and I'm afraid, because that is true. Stomper!
What's the one that looks like a tin can with legs?
That, I think, yeah.
It was either that or a Mega Boss, but I think a Mega Boss is just a big old orc, right?
Yeah, it's like a leader or something, right? Yeah.
Why do they call it Big Boy or something?
Boss.
Big Boy.
All right, well, coming up next is Gut Rippers!
True.
True.
Does it have a Z on the end?
Of course it has a Z on the end.
Is
Gut
it A
Rippers.
instead of ER at the end?
It's GUTRIPPAZ.
Oh. I'm going to say false again.
True from
I reckon
Lolies,
that's
false from
true.
Ian. True from Matt.
That's a true.
Ian, you are losing your way. It's another truey. Which means it's
Believe you me. This
points
is
for Matt and Lolies.
It's not. I mean, you just said you're going to say true for everything, and then you just completely.
But now,
negated
yeah,
it.
I don't know. It wasn't
It's the
working
old
out for
double
me.
bluff.
Next up is Spiky Lads.
Spiky lads.
With a Z.
Wasn't that Banana Man's sidekick?
False.
False from Lolies.
What a reference. Spiky lads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if he said Spotty Lads.
No, Spiky
No.
Lads.
Oh, that's very different.
False. I'm going false now.
False from both Lolies and me, Ian. Matt?
I don't think that's real. Nah.
That is a point across the board. Spiky Lads has been made up. Probably one of my weaker ones, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You didn't laugh as hard at that one, so.
Next up is Weird Knob Shaman.
True. It's true.
True. I'm going to say true for that as well.
Weird knob shaman.
Matt?
Yeah.
It's very unfair.
That's
but
my
I think
nickname.
it's true.
Yeah,
Why is it
Weird
very
Knob Shaman
unfair?
is absolutely true. That is a point across the board. You say it's your nickname, Lolies.
Let's not continue that one.
All right.
Turn the line as it is with this section.
There are 5 remaining. Are you ready?
Whoa. You made so many.
I know. We've got up next Def Mob.
How's it spelled?
DEFMOB.
I'll say true.
Yeah.
I reckon that's real.
That is false. So you've all missed out on that one. We'll move swiftly on. Up next is Ed Knockers.
How is head spelt?
HEDKNOKKAZ.
I'm saying true. Wait, am I?
I don't know, because the Jawbreakers. Was that true or false? I can't remember. I'm going to say false.
I'm saying
I don't-
true.
Yeah, I reckon that's true.
That's a point for me, Ian! It's false.
I reckon they would have knocked the H off, wouldn't they? That's too
Yeah.
formal for
Yeah, popping a apostrophe
Games
on that bad
Workshop's
boy.
approach to orcs.
All right, your third final is Savage Big Stabber.
Oh, is
True.
stabber spelt?
STABBA.
That's true.
Matt?
Yeah, I reckon that's true. Yeah.
Point across the board. Savage Big Stabber is literally 2 orcs holding a massive spear running around. It's very funny. The penultimate one is Weird Warbler.
Weird Warbler.
Weird Warbler.
Yeah,
I'm
true.
gonna say false.
Matt?
I think it's too boring to be false.
That's another point for Mian! Oh my god, coming up from behind. That is false, I'm afraid.
Wow, phrasing.
Right. The final name. Are we ready?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, wow, okay.
The last one. This will decide who's in last place. Just to add some more stakes. Are we ready? Your final unit name is Burner Bomber.
Right.
True.
Yeah, I reckon that's real. Yeah.
That is true. Which means we have our final scores.
Okay.
In last place, with 9 points out of 20, is unfortunately Alex Lolies. Thank you for playing, Lolies. Well done.
Thank you.
Close but no cigar. In a very close second, Mian with 10 out of 20. Literally 1 point ahead. But our winner, an ultimate orc named Noah, is Matt Jarvis with 13 out of 20. Absolutely stormed ahead.
Woo, and
like
the crowd goes wild.
My wife, my mum, my fellow rough nuts.
All the other cock splitters out there.
Yeah, weird knobs.
In fairness, a lot of these sound like they could either be heavy metal bands or like the names of like YouTuber communities. It's like, hey, what's up, cock splitters? It's your...
It's your boy.
It's your knob boy.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Thank you, Wills. That was a good segment. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah.
To be honest, look, this is one of the highest concurrent viewers we've had on this podcast so far. So I reckon the people have turned up in droves for this one.
They knew what was coming, despite the fact that we didn't mention it until 5 minutes ago.
I think to celebrate what a fantastic performance you've all done, we should all do a collective warg, just to get in the spirit. When the orcs charge, they go warg. WAAGH. Is everyone ready? I'll go 3, 2, 1, go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Warg!
Wow, that was the lamest thing we've ever done.
Shout out to another W user who says Matt a Jarv boy.
That's like it.
Oh my god. There you go. Make sure to tune in for the next podcast if you want some more hot sections like that, where we do all sorts of silly things.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Wills. That was a good one. Let's slide on to the last little part of this podcast. I don't know what's going on.
I've no clue.
We're just all having a great time.
I'm just sat here. I'm just sat here waiting for the end of class.
I'm just sat here. You're packing up your bag already. It's like 5 minutes to, and you're putting your pencils away.
Yeah, I'm putting all my pencils away individually.
Just a quick shout out to David Martin, who says, by the way, massive props to William for those on-point orc voices. Thanks very much, David. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got a good orc voice.
Well done, Wills.
I don't know if I ever posted it to social, that clip of me reading out all the orc names.
I don't think you did, no. I think because we were keeping this like a secret one. You should stick that up.
Yeah, I will. All
right. Maybe, I don't know if there are... Let's see maybe the words that you come out with in that video, because I think in Slack we had some that were not broadcastable.
I mean, arguably we've had some on the podcast which aren't broadcastable, but that door's been well and truly kicked open.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
All right, it's time for questions. If you've got any questions in the live chat,
email!
Fling them at us. We've also got emails. You also have to do one for chat now, Mian.
Why? What?
Because we also take questions from chat.
No, I think it encompasses everything.
No, we go, you can send us a message in the live chat if you're watching live, or you can reach us on
podcast at Dicebreaker.
No, she
didn't do it.
.com.
Didn't do it. Mian never does it on.
No, she doesn't do it on you. Wheels, she doesn't do it on cue. That's the whole point of it. Is that she does it at random points.
It's meant to show that I'm unpredictable.
It's episode 66. How have you not learned the rules of email yet?
David Martin says, question, what can I ask? You can ask us all sorts of questions. Whatever you like. Doesn't have to be board game related, but we're here to answer your questions on our favourite games, or give recommendations, or be an agony aunt, or whatever you need us to answer questions for. Obviously, keep them PC, keep them PG-13. But apart from that...
Yeah, I'm not answering a question about that boil you have on your leg or something.
What's your favourite Orc unit name, Wheels?
Out of those that
Having
we read
researched
out,
them.
it has to be Gorkamorka's Savage Porker. When I wrote that down, I was like, this is going to be a great quiz.
I can just imagine you being like, this will get him. This is going to absolutely kill him.
As well as you all fell for it. It was fantastic.
It was very good.
I'm imagining you laying in bed at night, all tucked up with your teddy bear, and then you're suddenly like...
Gorkamorka.
Do you know what's great is the Orcs have two gods in the original lore, Gork and Mork, and nobody really knows what the difference is. So they're always like, oh, are you the like savage cunning of Gork, or are you the cunning savagery of Mork? But they fused into one god for Age of Sigmar, so now they're called Gork and Walker.
That makes things a lot easier. That means there's no
no
fights over which god do you
and
like.
they all fight each other over who's best, Gork or Mork.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the funniest part. Oh my god.
It's a very efficient system.
Before we run out of time chatting about Gorkamorka, Alex Lolies, would you like to read this one from Jonathan, please, that we didn't get time for on last week's podcast? But
Jonathan says, Dear Dicebreaker, one of my favorite things about the Quest character creator is how easy it is to make your character a literal Muppet. What games do you think would be improved by the addition of Muppets or other such puppet-based characters? Your beloved Jonathan. Jonathan did not sign off by saying your beloved, by the way.
But we assumed. I just want to say I wanted to make sure that Lolies was on this podcast episode to talk about Muppet RPGs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as Muppets Treasure Island and Muppets Christmas Carol has proven, is there anything that cannot be improved by the addition of Muppets?
I don't think so.
Lolies?
This is in the internet, yeah.
Comments, questions, ideas.
Thesis.
I mean, yeah, I think I completely agree. Like, puppets and Muppets are the best things that have been created on this earth.
Now, hold on. Muppets I'll agree with, but not all puppets.
Yeah. I think puppets, in general, are good times.
There is hierarchy.
Punch and Judy.
Yeah, Muppets are great. But...
No. Sorry, I don't mean like specific puppets. I mean puppets as a being.
Oh, it's
puppets
like
as a concept. Yeah.
No, the concept of puppetry for sure.
Yeah, the invention of puppets and puppetry.
Wheels,
is a
you
marvel.
watch the Defunct Land series on Jim Henson and tell me that you didn't cry at the end.
No. I think Muppets with an M, are incredible. However, there are some incredibly cursed puppets out there that I never want to ever have to see again. Do you know what I mean? I think puppets can range, but Muppets are amazing.
Muppets are great. By the way, kudos. I can't remember who it was earlier in the chat who was assigning us Muppet characters and said I was Gonzo. Thank you very much, because Gonzo the Great is the best Muppet. Thank you.
I can see that, yeah.
I feel like I'm probably Rizzo the Rat.
I do have multiple love affairs with chickens.
My absolute favourite thing about any Muppets film is when it says Rizzo the Rat as himself. It gets me every time. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to see Rizzo in any other role? It's Rizzo the Rat. Exactly.
Like James says Muppets the Gathering.
I would take I mean,
Muppet
that's
Secret
I would
Lair.
love that.
Muppet Secret Lair would be great.
Or they're doing the Universes Beyond sets, right? Just a full set of
Oh my
Muppets.
god, they are!
Right. Also, Disney. I know we've not had. Right. I'm talking to you, Disney, right now. I know we've not had the best relationship. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Mr. Mickey Mouse. I know we've not had the best relationship. Those Disney sequels, they range in quality. But please make a Muppets role-playing game, an official one, because that would be wonderful. Otherwise, existing RPGs that we could put Muppets in, D&D.
Muppet Realms.
Yeah.
Oh, just imagine the titles though, right? Muppets
in the Dark.
Muppets the Masquerade.
Muppets in the Darkest. Not.
That's another reality TV show that I do not want to watch.
Something tells me that Disney probably wouldn't sign off on that one.
Yeah, Muppets the Masquerade is a good one, Wills.
Muppets the Masquerade is great.
That is a good one.
I feel like there could be something right in a social deduction game where you have to wear a physical puppet or Muppet on your hand, and you're holding a card that's your roll card, and that's how you hide it, and you have to maybe pass the puppets around or something. I don't know. It's basically 2 rooms and a boom, but Muppets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either
Muppets
that or
2077.
Past the Miss Piggies.
The reason Wheels wanted me on for this question in particular, I think, was because I've obviously never run an RPG, not just on Dicebreaker, but ever in my life. And the first one I want to do is there's a D&D kind of somebody's made their own version of it that's about that uses Muppets, and I want to do a Sesame Street one. And that's been my plan for the last year and a half. I've written down ideas every now and again, but I've never actually done anything with it. So that's why I'm here, and that's what's gonna happen.
Matt will be Oscar the Grouch.
Wow.
I think
Sesame Street.
In my head, I think I wanted all of you to make your own Muppet characters, and then the Sesame Street are the NPCs.
Right.
So that
good,
so that you can create your own Muppet character.
I think that would have to be the
impression
fun
of
of
all
it,
of
right?
them.
Yeah, well, that's something I've been working on, but I'm not very good at impressions.
In the mirror at night.
Instead of a DM, do you just have a BB, which is just Big Bird?
Big Bird. I don't know if I could ever be comfortable with Sesame Street after watching it was like a corrupted version of a PS1 Sesame Street game, and the things that happen in it never watch it, Lolies, because you will never be able to look at Big Bird in the same way. At one point, he basically absorbs the entire screen.
We've got some great Muppet game names in the live chat, by the way. Arca Muppet Horror, Muppet to Ride, Call of Kermit, Call of Muppet Fulu, Muppet
I think
of the
Ticket
Week.
to Muppet would be better.
Call of Kermit.
Call of Kermit really tickles my ribs.
Well,
but yeah.
Phil Connolly, Welcome to Sesame Street is a Welcome to game, but set in Sesame Street would be very cool.
That would be really cool, actually.
Oh my god, I would love that.
Yeah. Every time you write a number, you have to go
And you have to. One of the things you instead of pools is you have to put trash cans around.
Yeah.
Cookies.
Oh my god, I love it.
All right. Thank you for your question, Jonathan. Let's move on. Wills, would you like to read this one from? Let's say one from Andy Houghton.
Andy Houghton says, question, what do folks do with games you no longer have space for / don't want anymore? I've reached the capacity of Kallaxes and now have to either get rid of games or buy another Kallax. Thank you for that question, Andy, because it's in a situation I'm literally in. I am moving from my 2-bedroom flat that I share with Jake into Zoe's, which is way smaller and is a 1-bedroom flat, and there is not room for my massive Kallax where I store half of my games. So I don't know. So any advice would be great. So
I mean, I when I've moved previously, I've usually just stuck them on eBay. Any games that I haven't wanted, or I never really give them away unless I know somebody wants a specific game. Which, to be honest, I don't really have anyone who's ever been like, oh my god, I really want this game. Yeah.
The problem is I don't want to get rid of many of them. I love a lot of them, so it's I'm not sure how to storage units as Aiden folks, which might be a bit of an expensive option.
I don't know how, but you could put shelves all across the top of the room.
Oh my god!
What if I built a false ceiling?
Just paint the sides of the boxes like magnolia or whatever, and stack them up so it's like a false wall.
What I love as well, because like it's a small flat, we're having to do a lot of space saving things, and every now and again Zoe will be like, "Oh, I guess we'll get rid of my old TV because it's smaller than yours." And I was like, "We could do that, or we could attach it to the ceiling in the bedroom, and then we can watch TV lying down." And she's
oh
like,
God, that would give me massive anxiety. The idea of a TV just.
Potentially falling. Yeah.
That is Final Destination waiting to happen, Wheels. Wheels, I was going to say, yeah, like Nathaniel Levy says, store them in the Dicebreaker office. Wheels, put them on the pile.
Put them on the pile.
The Dicebreaker office has enough boxes.
I've got a cubby hole in the Dicebreaker office where I'm allowed to store my board games, which is literally 1 cube of a Kallax. So there's not that much room unless I want to like have them under my desk, which is actually where I've got a few.
The pile, Wheels.
The pile. We've just
the
got
pile.
We've
Just
also got
get
this
a bigger
problem at the office.
Yes,
No, yeah, that's the easy bit. Yeah, just buy a bigger flat. Yeah, easy.
Come on.
I think like previously, like when I was reviewing a lot of games, I would just send a message around to my friends and be like, "Hey, does anyone want these?"
Yeah.
Like after I was done with them, and then the rest would just go to charity. But it's
Oh man.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry, the trees.
They're
trees.
doing their
Things.
thing.
They're doing that thing, yeah.
Watch our arclets today to know what trees do. Should we do another question from chat before we slide
let's
off?
do
We
one
are
more.
reaching the
Yeah.
end of our time slot, I reckon.
Let's do me. And do you want to read this one from Space Cornet?
Space Cornet.
In space, no one can hear you play cornet.
Yeah. No one can hear you eat a cornet.
Star Realms.
Star Realms.
Thanks.
Was this like the two Ronnies bit where you're on something before it was red?
Yeah.
Ian, what's the question?
What are your opinions on deck builders? I'm trying to get the legendary Marvel deck builder. Get the alien one instead.
Get Star Realms.
The alien one is really good.
I've never
Yeah.
played any of the legendary games because they're always like brand
good.
tie-ins, and I'm like,
Yeah.
They're
They're-
actually good, like
yeah.
for what they are. The alien one will destroy you, but like that makes sense in the sense that it's alien. You know, you are outnumbered. It's the perfect organism.
I think deck builders are really fun. Like, I think, and it's cool seeing them in different. Like we were talking about Undaunted as well, where it's like it's a deck builder, but there's also stuff going on. There's a good the Academy games do a good deck builder as well around like I think like a French war or something boring, but it's like it's cool mechanics.
I will technically say that Unmatched isn't a deck builder because you're not really building a deck. You're just using a deck. It's more of a skirmish game with a deck.
Do you mean I said Undaunted? Sorry, not Unmatched.
Oh, I thought you
It's
said
fine.
Unmatched,
We have
sorry.
now both misheard each other, so it's
Right.
all good. We are now even.
Okay.
It's even out.
Undaunted is a very good deck builder. Yes.
It's really, really
Sorry.
good.
If you like deck builders, you should check out this really cool space game.
What I
It's set in space, and it's called Star Realms.
It's set in Star. Lolies, what I would
Yeah.
love is I would love to hear you recommend a deck builder that isn't Star Realms.
There's no other.
Doesn't exist.
There aren't any.
No, what? There's another deck builder I like. Oh,
Right.
I'm convinced.
Flip City is kind of alright, I guess. It's a deck builder where you've got cards and and you play them, and you can play as many cards as you like until you can go broke because there's these little sad faces on them, and if you play too many sad faces you go broke. But some cards you play from the top of your deck. You play from the top of your deck, and some cards might force you to keep playing. I know, it's really interesting, and all the cards are double-sided because you can the whole thing is that you can flip cards around to upgrade them, and there's like a couple of different win conditions. It's pretty simple. It's good. It's not as good as Star Realms.
The thing is, like, Quacks is a deck builder. It's just a bag with tokens. And
Oh, it's a back, of course,
it's a-
Quacks.
yeah, and I'm
The walls.
actually baffled that you didn't recommend it.
I was like, there's another deck builder I like. There's a deck builder I really like, and I couldn't think of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Quacks is technically a back builder, but
it's pretty much a
one
deck
of the
builder.
best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sil Connolly says Fort. Fort is such
very
an
good.
amazing deck
Four
building
is great,
game.
yeah.
please play it because it almost subverts deck building in a way. You're not really meant to have a massive deck. Yes, Wills?
I saw Jason Cole say, have you heard of Magic the Gathering? Magic the Gathering is a game in which you build
construction
decks, but it is not a deck builder.
Deck builder.
Yeah, favorite deck builders. Yeah, really like. There is actually a list that you can read on the Dicebreaker website, dicebreaker.com, of the top 10 best deck builders. It's a very good list. On there,
that might be a good time to start saying all of the things that we do in the outro and using that as
now we say almost nothing. But
segue.
But I will say that Kate Collier asked, what does the roadmap look like for Dicebreaker in the near future? And that will segue us out very nicely. Because in the near future, next week, we're launching memberships. Look out for that. We'll have more details on Monday, Tuesday, and then we plan to launch on Wednesday. And now I've said it, it will happen.
Yes.
Barring any tech hiccups. But everything's set. Yeah, we know what's happening. It's really exciting. We've got a lot of cool stuff lined up.
5 videos.
Yes, 5 videos at launch, and then more to come. Like custom emoji, like a Discord that will launch at some point in the future. We're still getting stuff ready around that, but it will happen. A lot of cool stuff, so look out for that. Of course, we've got all the stuff on youtube.com/Dicebreaker, the channel you're already watching or listening to, and Dicebreaker.com as well. But
and on Dicebreaker.com, you can find the article where Alex Bean wrote about deck builders. And there's the segue.
Where things come full circle. And also, like, check us out on Twitter if you don't already, @Join Dicebreaker. Like, it's the easiest way of keeping up to date with what we're doing. And that's a lot of stuff very soon. Who knows? We may even have some other news coming up in the next few weeks or months.
There are so many cool things that we're doing.
There are a lot of exciting things happening, yeah.
Which means we're all busy, but we're all very excited.
Yes. And speaking of that, we've come to the end of this week's podcast. Thank you very much for being here, Alex Lolies.
Thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm gonna keep singing until someone stops me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
That's the spirit that people come to Dicebreaker for. It's the enthusiasm. Thanks for being here, Wills. Discord just completely cut you off
Discord was like, nah, mate.
That's fine. It went on the stream.
I've been Matt Jarvis. Thank you for listening. If you're listening, thank you for watching. If you've been watching, we are live every Friday, 2 till 4 BST with this very podcast. You can also find it on iTunes and Spotify and places like that. As we mentioned earlier, like, COVID is still happening. Be safe out there. You know, take precautions. Look after yourselves. Look after others. Be responsible. But until we meet again, this has been the Dicebreaker podcast. Oh my goodness, it's time to finish. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again, have a lovely day.
Goodbye.
I saw the screen pop up. It's